Good morning to live viewers, replay viewers, web viewers. Good morning to you. We have snow. Hi, everybody. Hey, how's it going? We have snow here. The schools are closed. Good morning. There's like an inch on the ground and everyone's freaking out. Hi. Snow day, snow day, snow day. Good morning. It's just funny having lived in 25 years in Colorado. Yeah, Morgan got 2 snow days her whole life. And now these kids have had like 3 snow days already for seriously like 1 to 2 inches. No, we get January, February, March. Warm 50s and sunny. Nice. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you closing the schools? It's fine. Do you want me to drive the kids? It'll be fine. Yeah, exactly. Everyone freak out and go buy all the bread and milk. Thanks for the hearts and the shares. We are on, let me turn those notifications off because that's super loud. Super loud, and I'm pretty sure I can do it. There we go. There we go. Hold on. Perfect. Yeah, do you want me to drive the kids? I'm pretty sure I can handle a school bus. Our county's pretty small, so I think we can do it. I think we can do it ourselves. What's today? Tuesday. Good morning, Sarah. Oh, that fried egg looks delicious. Let's see. Thursday is the last day for Level 2 Desire Map tickets. Level 1 sales end February 23rd. So if you haven't taken Level 1 from me, take Level 1. And then you can take Level 2, which is going to be super cool. It's 3 weeks, but it's going to be a lot of work. Good morning, Julia. Let's jump right into our Big Magic book. Our Big Magic. Your birthday. I was going to see if I could let you guys see the snow, but I don't know. Let's see. Can you see it? The window's kind of cruddy. Big fat flakes. Yeah, big fat snowflakes. It's really pretty. I'm glad I don't have to go anywhere. So, we're going to talk about an amplified existence. Oh, moisture, yeah. So last time we talked about having the courage to bring forth the treasures. Our treasures within us. And the hunt for those treasures is what she's calling Big Magic. That's where we left off. So an amplified existence is, when I talk about creative living here, please understand I'm not necessarily talking about pursuing a life professionally or exclusively devoted to the arts. Right? That's where we get limited in thinking that creativity has only to do with art or writing or painting or things like that. I'm not saying you must become a poet who lives on a mountaintop in Greece, or that you have to perform at Carnegie Hall, or that you must win the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. That's pretty terrible French. Hopefully no one is French who's watching this. I mean, I'm pretty sure I just butchered that. So, if you want to attempt those things, have at it. I love watching people swing for the bleachers, but when I refer to creative living, I'm speaking more broadly. I'm talking about living a life that is driven more strongly by curiosity than fear. When you can move through your day and as things happen, have an attitude of curiosity of where they might be taking you or what's going to be coming next, it's a lot less stressful and a whole lot more fun. It's a practice to learn to look at it that way. It's certainly, life's not a perpetual talent show. So, living by curiosity than by fear. One of the coolest examples of creative living that I've seen in recent years came from my friend Susan, who took up figure skating when she was 40 years old. That's pretty courageous, because figure skating, ice skating hurts. It's so painful. It hurts so much when you hit the ice, and you hit the ice a lot. So she was 40. Well, I took up mountain biking when I was 30. 2004, 2003, and I was born in 66. So what was I, 35, 36 before I started mountain biking? So, and well, mountain biking is also painful. You donate a lot of blood to the mountains in the beginning. So she already knew how to skate, though. Yeah, started tap dancing in their late 40s. Yeah, I saw that picture. That was super cool. So she knew already how to skate. She had competed as a child, so she wasn't like picking this up. Yeah, you leave a lot of blood behind. She wasn't like learning how to skate from scratch, okay? She had figure skated as a kid, but she didn't have enough talent to be a champion, which is lovely adolescence when the talented are shunted off from the herd, thus putting the total burden of society's creative dreams on the thin shoulders of a few select souls, while condemning everyone else to live a more commonplace, inspiration-free existence. What a system. For the next quarter of century, my friend Susan did not skate, because she thought, well, why bother? If she can't be the best, then why bother? Which is sad, right? Because clearly it was probably a joyful thing for her. Then she turned 40. She was listless. She was restless. She felt drab and heavy. She did a little soul searching the way one does on big birthdays. She asked herself when was the last time she'd felt truly light, joyous, and yes, creative in her own skin. And she realized it had been decades since she felt like that. So sad. In fact, the last time she'd experienced such feelings had been as a teenager, back when she was still figure skating. So for yourself, when was the last time you felt like that? And what were you doing? Like joyous, light, creative, in the flow. You were losing track of time. You were so into what you were doing. I hope it hasn't been decades since you felt like that. She was appalled to discover she'd denied herself this life-affirming pursuit for so long, and was curious to see if she still loved it. For me, that was just, it's almost every day, because I'm working on adding to the level 2 curriculum. I'm always looking at adding to the level 1 workshop curriculum, because the stuff you get from Danielle Laporte is really just a skeleton, and you've got to add to it or it's not going to be as impactful. And writing will do that for me, and I try to do that every day. Something where you're in that zone of losing time. Good morning. Losing time and feeling alive, like you're doing what you're meant to do. Yesterday when you were making Valentines, yeah, in some sort of creative process. Bernice, right? I'm getting people's names down. Okay, so she followed that curiosity. She bought skates, hired a coach. She ignored the voice within that told her she was being self-indulgent and preposterous to do this crazy thing. So when you're doing something and you hear that voice of criticism rise up, you got to ignore that. That's just normal resistance stuff, and you just have to tell it, whatever, I'm still doing it. She tamped down her feelings of extreme self-consciousness at being the only middle-aged woman on the ice with all those tiny, feathery 9-year-old girls. Tiny, feathery 9-year-old girls. That's funny. She just did it. 3 mornings a week, Susan awoke before dawn, and in that groggy hour before her demanding day job began, she skated. Skated, and she loved it as much as ever. She loved it now more than ever because as an adult, she finally had the perspective to appreciate the value of her own joy. Skating made her feel alive and ageless. She stopped feeling like she was nothing more than a consumer. Pay attention to that restlessness. If your life has gone flat and you're just sort of milling around and nothing's very satisfying and nothing really sparks your interest. It's not like clinical depression, but a depressed state, kind of just blah, pay attention to that. Something is asking to be born into that. It's not, that restlessness is something asking to be born. But you have to take responsibility for ferreting around inside you. And it really is helpful to look back at what gave you a lot of joy when you were younger, when you were a kid even. Like, what could you do for hours and not think twice about it? It can really lead you to things that will bring you back to life if you're feeling sort of in between and kind of yuck. So it was a revolution, a literal revolution, as she spun to life again on the ice. Please note that my friend did not quit her job, didn't sell her home, didn't sever all her relationships, and moved to Toronto to study 70 hours a week with an exacting Olympic-level skating coach. It doesn't have to be dramatic, this creative living. It doesn't have to be like, by looking back, like what gives you joy? What gave you joy at one time? Yeah, what do you love? What can you do and that you just love doing? And that can be going to a museum. It might not even be making something. It might be appreciating the works of other people. Look for the thing that when you do it, you can do it for hours and just love it. That restlessness is letting you know that life wants to move through you in that way. The dramatic aspect having to happen to live this way. Whoops. I lost those. Yeah, for me it's when time stops being fully present. Yeah. So the restlessness is letting you know that you've got that energy backed up and it needs a place to go. And looking at the things that you enjoyed doing that maybe you haven't done in a while gives it a place to go. If you continue to ignore it, it can turn into clinical depression. If you continue to just push it aside and feel the yuck doesn't go away, like it just gets amplified. And if you continue to ignore it, oh yes, you lose time because you're having so much fun. If you continue to ignore it, sometimes life brings you some unsettling circumstances to shake you up. So you'll turn left when you should have turned right and, have a fender bender or something that kind of shakes you up and wakes you up a little bit. I thought this was drawing. That's what I did as a kid, but don't have the patience for it anymore. Sometimes we lose our patience for those activities because there's a voice in our head telling us we ought to be doing something different. Or we've spent too much time on YouTube. YouTube's destroying our attention span. Like, it really is. It's research. It's true. Susan, for me, when I feel that impatience, when I'm starting a drawing, I have to draw, step away, go do something, come back, draw, step away, go do something, come back. Or I'll set a timer and make myself stand there for a full 30 minutes. And then I slip into the zone. Yeah, like 2-second attention spans now. But I sometimes have to make myself stand there long enough to slip into it. Yes, when you finish, you'll be so happy. So it doesn't have to be dramatic, right? So the story doesn't end because Susan is still figure skating several mornings a week just because skating is the best way for her to unfold a certain beauty and transcendence within her life that she cannot seem to access in any other manner. So it's fuel. She's refilling her tanks every time she goes skating. That gives her the patience to deal with her cranky children or a difficult boss or a demanding job. It refills her tanks and gives her the resources to handle the normal things of life. Life doesn't stop. Yeah, but we can transcend the petty aggravation of it all. It gives you... Yes, yeah, sometimes the creative process is... It's you hate it. I can't not draw, but the process of drawing it's not always pleasant. Sometimes it's damned aggravating. when you're doing that and you're taking care of filling your resources, nobody likes giving birth, yeah. But what you get at the end of it, hopefully you're happy with. So that's creative living. Yeah, I hated every minute of those dogs. That dog drawing I did with the 7 dogs. But every time I finished a dog, I was like so enlivened by that it gave me the strength and the courage to go tackle the next dog. So it's the same thing as achieving any sort of challenge. If we don't challenge ourselves, and we sink into a funk. Our minds need problems to solve. Our minds need challenges. And if we don't give them challenges, if we don't give our mind challenges and things to overcome, it will look for them themselves, and you may not like the kind of chaos it can stir up. So that's when you pick fights with your spouse. Yeah, that's when you say stuff to your, boss that gets you in trouble. When you're connected and you're in tune, you say the appropriate thing to your boss at the right time because you're in a calm state when you're doing it. If you're in a situation where you have to say something to somebody, like it's got to be done either for your own development or for your health and well-being, when you do something that enlivens you first, you're in an aligned state, and then you think of the correct, the most efficient and productive thing to say. You're going to have a lot better words if you're in tune and connected to yourself when you have to do something difficult. The difficult things don't stop. We still have to tell people that someone's died. We still have to experience a death for our own self. Someone close to us dies. We still have car wrecks. We still have, the post office saying the wrong thing. Saying the wrong thing or at the wrong time. Right. It just comes busting out of you. Whereas if you're in tune and you're regularly living creatively, that energy is flowing. There's no twists. There's no knots in your water hose. If you put a kink in the water hose, everything is bad. But, a free-flowing hose of energy, it's a terrible analogy. But you know what I mean. Like, you're going to know, it's going to just come to your mind what to say and when to say it. And when crappy things happen, because crappy things do still happen, life doesn't stop. But your handling of it completely changes. That's when you slip into the synchronicity stream and things get easier. But they still don't stop. Sometimes things are still hard. Okay, while the paths and outcomes of creative living will vary wildly from person to person, I can guarantee you this. Ooh, that's cool. I dreamed about portals last night. I dreamed that there was an open portal. I don't even really know. I have a feeling of what it was about, but it's not... Yeah. It's not a topic for public discussion yet, but portal, that word has been coming up a lot. Portals opening and whatnot. Anyway, the paths and outcome, vary. But a creative life is an amplified life. It's a bigger life, a happier life, expanded life. Yeah, the concept of portals is really interesting. And a hell of a lot more interesting life. Living in this manner continually and stubbornly, bringing forth the jewels that are hidden within you is a fine art in and of itself. Because creative living is where big magic will always abide. The most horrible thing I can hear someone say is, oh, yeah, I'd like to do that, but, I'm old, or I don't have time, or, my family needs me at home. And I was like, they don't really have you at home. If you're... Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like mental portals opening up and giving you a glimpse of another way to live. If you're in a funk because you're not creating, if you're in a down space because you're not doing anything that brings you to life, and you think you can't go do that because you need to be at home with your family, your family doesn't have you. Your attention, you're not fully present in your life. Oh, that's adorable. I can't wait for these twins to start talking. I know we're going to regret that, but... Okay, the next chapter is scary, scary, scary. Let's talk about courage now. Yes, Sarah. Yeah. Not creating because of obligation. I don't know what that... I have never played that. Right, Tanya, can you have Porter scope and explain portals to the rest of us? Let's talk about courage. If you already have the courage to bring forth the jewels that are hidden within you, terrific. Let me say this too. Sometimes we don't bring them forward because we're afraid they're going to be criticized as being a waste of time or as being somehow subpar quality. That's not the case. You don't ever even have to show your stuff to anybody. You're probably already doing really interesting things with your life and you don't need this book. Rock on. But if you don't have the courage, let's try to get you some. Because creative living is a path for the brave. We all know this. And we all know that when courage dies, creativity dies with it. We all know that fear is a desolate boneyard where our dreams go to desiccate in the hot sun. That is also called the state of Arizona. I apologize if that's where you live and you love it. But my experience of Arizona is a desolate boneyard where dreams go to desiccate in the hot sun. Ugh. This is common knowledge. Sometimes we just don't know what to do about it. Hey, Carol. No, Sedona is beautiful. That's true. I'm talking about Phoenix and Whitman and Surprise and Prescott. Ugh. Okay, so let me list for you some of the many ways in which you might be afraid to live a more creative life. Okay, this is what the voices in your head say. This is what you need to be aware of is keeping you trapped. These words and sentences form the ropes that tie you up and keep you from living your most authentic life and your most productive and amazing life. So listen for these voices in your head and tell them to shut up. You're afraid you have no talent. You're afraid you'll be rejected or criticized, ridiculed or misunderstood, or worst of all, ignored. You're afraid there's no market for your creativity and therefore no point in pursuing it. Let me just add, not everything you do has to be monetized. A lesson I had to learn. Sometimes creating for the sake of creating is all that needs to happen. It leads to, ironically enough, an increase in income, but it can't be approached that way or it kind of kills it. Here's another common one. You're afraid somebody else already did it better. You're afraid everybody else already did it better. So you have an idea and you're like, well, so-and-so already did that and theirs is better. You're afraid somebody will steal your ideas, so it's safer to keep them hidden forever in the dark. You're afraid you won't be taken seriously. You're afraid your work isn't politically, emotionally, or artistically important enough to change anyone's life. And that's not the point. It's to change your life. It's to open up your life. You don't need to worry about how it impacts other people. You're afraid that your dreams are embarrassing. You're afraid that someday you'll look back on your creative endeavors as having been a giant waste of time, effort, and money. Yes. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of discipline. Open up your portal. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of workspace or financial freedom or empty hours in which to focus on invention or exploration. This is a common one among parents, mothers, and just women in general. So listen to this one. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of workspace or financial freedom or empty hours in which to focus on invention or exploration. I would challenge anyone to not be able to find 20 minutes where they could do something creative in a day. I've gone through with people on multiple occasions a 24-hour clock, and found lots of time in their day. But they were hitched up because they were like, well, it has to be formal. Like I have to have a studio. Okay, so The Fringe Hours is a good book for that. You have time. You have time. You have to look for it, and you have to schedule your time into your calendar. You have to make it a priority. If you don't, it fritters away, and you feel like you don't have time. Right, and you don't have to make it so formal. Like, you don't have to have I don't have a studio. Okay, I have an easel behind me. You can see it. It's slapped up against the wall. It comes out into the middle of the living room. Yeah, Einstein time. Yeah, bend it. Bend time for your own benefit. My art supplies are crammed in under the TV. When it's time to draw, the easel gets out in the middle of the living room floor, and I draw. And if I waited until I had a studio or had a particular space to draw, it would never happen. Hi, Heath. Are you enjoying your day shift? It's snowing here. So, and Heath has learned to walk around the easel. We've never had, we've only lived in one place that had a separate room that I could draw in, only once. So, all the rest of the time it's been out amongst our living space. Yeah, you were painting last night, right? You were exploding on canvas. You're like, I gotta create something. I gotta make something. It might be at your kitchen table. It might be sitting on your bed if you don't have a lot of space. Do I want to go on a date? You're embarrassing me. Oh, Sarah nailed a tarp to the wall so she could paint. That's awesome. Kitchen table with supplies in boxes. Aww. I was complaining last night that we hadn't had a date night in a while. Oh, I will. I want to see Rock City. We're not that far from Rock City, and I want to see it. I don't think it's expensive. Say yes. Yes, Heath, I will go on a date with you. Okay. So don't tell me you don't have time to create. That is garbage. She said yes. I want to go to Rock City. And it's not that far. It's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Okay. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of training or degree. Date night, yay! We all need that, right? We need to make our relationship special and have some formal date times to really focus on each other. Yeah, it's important. Otherwise, again, time just fritters away. See Rock City. I can't wait. I really want to do. Yeah, training. You don't need training. You don't need to take a class. It's great if you can take a class. It's so much fun, but you don't have to. Yes, very much. So, you're afraid you're too fat. That's one of the ones listed here. Yes, they do, Tanya. Tons of them. We have a birdhouse out here that the previous owners left for us that says See Rock City on it. Yes, you can learn tons of stuff on YouTube. You can learn anything you want on YouTube. You would hold yourself back because not having training? Yeah, so that's important. So another thing she lists is you're afraid you're too fat. I don't know what this has to do with creativity exactly, but experience has taught me that most of us are afraid we're too fat. So let's just put that on the anxiety list for good measure. If I had let being a large woman stop me, I would never have backpacked. I would never have gone camping by myself and experienced those awesome challenges. I would never have mountain biked. Because even when I'm thin, I'm still big. You almost didn't go to Koya because you felt uncomfortable in your body. Yeah, she's right to put that on here. You're afraid you're too fat. If you used to be a dancer and now you're 50 pounds heavier, you may use the you're too fat excuse as an excuse to not go dance. And that's ridiculous. Ridiculous. You're afraid of being exposed as a hack, a fool, a dilettante, or a narcissist. I wish I was as fat as the first time I thought I was fat. Right. Or too old. Yeah, you look back at pictures and you're like, oh my God, I was so not fat. And I used fat as an excuse back then. And I wasn't fat at all. Now I'm fat. But if I got fatter, I would look back at today and go, oh, I wasn't that fat. The fat word is a big challenge for people. You're afraid of upsetting your family with what you may reveal. Is that one? Are you worried that if you take up an art project, what starts to come out of you might be upsetting for the people around you? What if you have some darkness that needs expression? You really dislike the F word. Own that fat word. Make it your own. Fat. Are you afraid of what your artwork might show about you? If you take up drawing or pottery or anything, are you afraid of what it will reveal? Sometimes creating things makes people feel too vulnerable, so they won't do it. Are you afraid of what your peers and co-workers will say if you express your personal truth aloud? You were scared to call your malas around your dad. What did you call them? Prayer beads or necklaces? Yeah. So we hold ourselves back that way, right? I didn't tell people for a long time that I was a Reiki master, and I'd been one for years. Necklaces, yeah. Yep. We choke ourselves. We put our own hands around our throat and choke back our truth, and it's very, very damaging. And what she's saying is, knock that off. Just stop it. Because here's the thing. Your peers and coworkers may react badly if you start speaking your truth. Right. Me too, Betty. It's mine. I own it. This is my fat. This is my chub. You can't have it. It's my chubby. This is my muffin top. I don't have a muffin top, but I have a big badonkadonk butt. It's my badonkadonk butt. And you can't have it. If anybody else wants it, you can have it. Oh, Sarah. That's kind of sad. So he won't use a mala then. That sucks. It really does suck. Your peers and coworkers may react badly. But you're moving through the hesitation is what I hear. That there might be a hitch in your voice, but you're saying it anyway. Yeah. Good enough. It gets more comfortable. But also, your peers and coworkers might be curious about what you do, and they might really enjoy knowing, and they might actually purchase services from you, which has happened. You're afraid of unleashing your innermost demons, and you really don't want to encounter your innermost demons. You're afraid your best work is behind you. You're afraid you never had any best work to begin with. You're afraid you neglected your creativity for so long that now you can never get it back. That is not true. You're afraid you're too old. You're afraid you're too young. You're afraid because something went well in your life once, so obviously nothing can ever go well again. Let me speak to this one. Every time I finish a poem, or every time I finish a book, or every time I finish a drawing, I'm convinced that that was all I had, and I'll never be able to do it again. I'm convinced that I've used up my creativity in that book. I write the end, and then I'm like, that's it. That's all I got. I can't ever write again. I wrote a few books, and now I'm done. You do that with cards. Yeah, Catherine makes really complex, intricate cards. Like, the card itself is a gift. And, yeah, so every time I complete a portrait or something, I'm like, that's it. I won't ever be able to draw another portrait. I'm done. So it's very hard to get started again. The book War of Art is a very good companion book to go with this. I would love for her to put them on Etsy. Her daughter's putting her cards on Etsy. I'd like to see Catherine's on there too. I'm old enough to not really care what others think of me. Yes, I'm there with you. I don't care anymore. The last year was my year of exposure. 2015 was my year of just coming clean with everything I believed and everything that I practiced. And it was enormously refreshing. Okay, so you're afraid because nothing has ever gone well in your life, so why bother trying? You're afraid of being a one-hit wonder, and you're afraid of being a no-hit wonder. Listen, I don't have all day here. So I'm not going to keep listing fears. It's a bottomless list anyhow, and a depressing one. So I'll wrap up my summary this way. Scary, scary, scary. Everything is so goddamn scary. Okay, yay! Bring it through, Sarah. I felt like I was there with you painting last night, and that lots of other women-y, goddessy type people were there with you as well. So it'll be interesting. That's happening to my mother too. All kinds of information coming through. Scary, scary, scary. Everything is so goddamn scary. So you might as well just go do it. If Erin's still on here, she's a tap dancer. Which is pretty brave, I think. And super mad creative. The way this fits into... Yeah. So Erin's a tap dancer, and you make her own costumes and stuff too, right? And she does jazzercise. So if she has the guts to tell people she does jazzercise, then you can find the guts to tell people what you do. Poor Erin takes endless shit for the jazzercise. But it's creative. It's life-affirming. It's life-allowing. So if you're choking yourself back because of any of the millions of fears that we just listed off, knock it off. There's no reason for that. It's ridiculous. That is all just smoke and mirrors. It's just garbage. It's designed to prevent you from expressing your life, and it's no longer necessary. It never was necessary. But you're here and you're hearing this, and if you have the book, you're reading it, and you're starting to understand that that needs to stop. You have a life. You deserve to live it. You deserve to live it fully. And you will not live it fully until you give yourself permission to express what you need to express. And nobody else can give you permission for that. And you've just got to understand that you might lose some approval of some people around you. And you'll live. Okay? You'll live. People may judge you, and you'll be fine. It'll hurt, and it will suck, and you'll recognize that you don't need anybody's approval. You really don't. If you feel the impulse to speak, for God's sake, speak. Think about what you're going to say, but speak. Ooh, excuse me. I think I'm getting a cold. I would just say thank you. I would just say all the reasons we keep ourselves silent, it's on. I've got thieves in the diffuser today. I heard it. Evie. Oh, right. People judge you anyway, so why not have fun? So I had a friend once who said, excuse me for the sniffling. Oh, it's so gross. He said to me, if people are talking about me, I can handle it. Because that means they're giving somebody else a break. People are going to gossip about people. That's what they do. And so if I'm being gossiped about, that means that Mary Sue is getting a day off from being gossiped about. And I can handle it. So I went through that. I learned that I can survive it. I learned that people can be mad at me and I'll be okay. I learned that people can talk shit about me and I'll be fine. It's not fun. It's never fun. But it's not an excuse at all. It's not a valid reason at all to not say what needs to be said and to not do what needs to be done for your own life. Right, straight up, faux show. That's just the way it is. Damn it. It's not my business what people think about me. When Sarah said in the scope that it mattered how we felt, not how we looked, it made all the difference. Yeah. Yeah, go with the feeling first. Find the feeling first, and then let the action come into your mind, and it will. It will, I promise. Here's how this happens. So the life revealed part. Right, Betty, because you're like, geez. Yeah, it's none of my business. How do you magically talk about everything happening to me right now? That's true for all, because it happens to all of us. Oh, Jan Levin's that's nice. Because we're all doing it, Aaron. Everybody's doing stuff at the same time. So, the other thing I want to say is to find. Oh, two things I want to leave you with. Finding the feeling first is not a waste of time. It actually saves you time. It's much more efficient. So I spoke to someone yesterday that just about broke my heart because the fear of what she needs to accomplish is taking the front seat, and it's actually going to prevent her from accomplishing what she needs to accomplish efficiently. So when we are looking for a spouse, the desperation of needing to find someone actually pushes people away. If we focused on feeling and embodying love first, we wouldn't be thinking about finding someone, and we would be found. If we're desperately searching for a job, interviewers are going to pick up on that. We smell desperation from a mile away, and we respond negatively to it. So if you're coming at life from a fearful state of a grasping, I've got to, it pushes away what you're reaching for. You've got to flip-flop that and find the feeling of having it already. It's a mind trick. It's a mind game. It works. It releases that desperate energy, and it allows you to be led through synchronous events, hearing the right thing at the right time, somebody calling you, giving you information, finding the right book at the right time, getting on Periscope at the right time. That's synchronicity in action. That is life revealing itself to you, but you have to find that feeling place first. People can feel your energy. Yes, you can pick up on the energy of a person doing a Periscope, and we're nowhere near each other. Yeah, Cindy, we're almost done. A constant ebb and flow of daily practice. Yes. So, I had two things. So that, finding the feeling place first, and it's gone. I lost it. Oh, well. That's the important part. So, example. Oh, I had an example. So I was talking to... I've had somebody shine a light on a blind spot for me last night. I wasn't asking for it. It just happened in conversation. Desperation doesn't look good on anyone. It's not attractive. It's not an attractive look. Desperation is not. So we've talked a lot about how we play small and minimize our achievements and minimize our money situation because we don't want to make other people feel bad. My master's degree is something that I've minimized because I didn't want to make people feel bad. And I wasn't even aware that I was doing that. Like sort of downplaying the fact that I worked my ass off and got a degree. Because I didn't want people who don't have a degree to compare themselves to me. I hate that. A degree gives me some more training. Yeah, well, I didn't. Michelle said something last night and I was like, oh, well, shit. So I made that connection because I want to live an authentic life and I want ease in my life. And that is leading me through these processes to these processes where I hear the right thing at the right time and it clicks. The nickel drops. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's an achievement. I need to give myself credit for that. I'm finding a lot of places where I'm not giving myself credit. I worked my butt off for that master's degree. It doesn't mean that I'm better. That's the part I don't like. It doesn't mean that I'm better than someone who doesn't have one. It does mean that I did achieve something difficult. Yeah, it's a big one. When you listen to the advice you're giving other people, you hear what you need to hear for yourself. So I was saying, oh, you need to give yourself credit for this big accomplishment or whatever. And then I got off the phone and I was like, oh, maybe I need to take my own advice. When you're handing out advice to people, apply it to yourself, please. You're actually saying it to yourself. That's why I say to you guys all the time, I do this scoping thing for me. Amen, sister. Hallelujah, Jeebus all Buddha. So, that's how life works when you want to be in alignment. It will bring you into the places that are not in alignment so you can do something about them and express more fully in the world. Does that make sense? Like, do you see how it all fits together? It's kind of lofty concepts, but that's how it plays out in daily life. You have a conversation that shines a light on a blind spot for you. They're not called blind spots for no reason. You can't frickin' see them. Tell somebody. It's a transformation process you go through, which makes you wise and such a great teacher. Oh, thanks. I'm shameless. I will tell you all the stuff that I'm going through. Yes, Dr. Tanya. Tanya's a pharmacist. Doc. I'm going to start calling you Doc T. What's up, Doc T? That can be your rapper name. Dr. T's in the house. She's like, no, stop. Please don't do that. Okay. That's all I got. That's all I have for you. That's all I have for you today. Okay, I can call you Dr. T for the rapper name. Breakthrough on jealousy toward those. Yeah. Counseling psychology. Yes, counseling psychology is transformative. Breakthroughs on jealousy. Yes. And see, I've been holding back on that because I don't want to trigger that. But that's not my responsibility, how you respond to me. I've had to go through jealousy stuff. Periscope brings it up. Yeah, you watch people being successful in areas that you want to be successful in on Periscope. You can on purpose trigger a lot of jealousy for you to work through. Watch Periscopers that you can't stand, and it will. It's not masochistic, I promise. It'll bring up stuff for you to work on. Yeah, it brings up fear of approval. It brings up fear of exposure. It brings up fear of being vulnerable. Oh, thanks, Tanya. I was a therapist for a long time, a social worker for a long time, and I specialized in trauma. So, it does give me some skills that I bring to my workshops that are a little different. And we're not doing therapy in the workshops, but those tools give me a clear picture of what people are going through. You've gone through that spectrum, yes. So can you think of something that makes you feel alive, just real quick, and make a commitment to doing some of it? Something that makes you feel so wonderful and so alive that you can do today, possibly, even in the littlest bit. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm Michelle Wolf. I haven't even said my name. Michelle Wolf. There's that master's degree. So silly. But not silly. It matters, but it doesn't. CaddyshackDesigns.com. Yes. CaddyshackDesigns.com. Across the top are tabs that will lead you to where the workshops are. Young Living Essential Oils, Reiki, everything that I do. Everything that I do. My artwork. It's all on tabs across the top. The main page is generally a cat product review. See, I'm sneaky like that. Van of the mug. Yeah, I still have some mugs for sale. They're $14.95. Ah, so cold. So, put your hands in a potted plant. Buy yourself some flowers. To get any kind of little teeny bit of nature. Thank you. Thank you. So, I'll leave you with that. And, go for a drive. Yeah, do some window. Go to a park. Work in your yard. Yes. Do whatever little thing you can today. A tray of pebbles. Yeah. There's lots of ways. Somebody in one of the workshops, in the workbook, it has some rapid fire questions, and you fill in the blank with the first thing that comes to mind. And it was the smell of joy or something. And she said rose petals in water was the first thing that came to mind. Snuggle time in bed with a dog, that's the best. Rose petals in water has a pretty distinctive smell. You're drawing a blank, it's going to come to you. When you're washing the dishes or something, it's going to pop into your head. You're going to go for a walk. A tray of pebbles. A potted plant. Really, a potted plant can help. Yes, rose is awesome on the heart chakra. I use it a lot. So I'm going to wrap up, and we'll be back tomorrow for Tao Te Ching and Byron Katie. And if you have questions, you can get a hold of me through my, Twitter. You can DM me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You can go to the website, find a contact form. I'm pretty easy to find. Maybe too easy. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm really enjoying going through this book. It really prompts a lot of discussion. Yay! Thanks for ordering it through the Amazon link. Thank you. Yeah, maybe too easy. I got some weird trolley type people finding me on Facebook, so I might have to shut make my page private for a while. Creeps. Nigerian princes, I'm really popular with those guys. Nigerian princes. So, ooh, did you see the cat come flying through? He must be cold. All right, love you guys. See you tomorrow. We're around the same time, 9:30-ish Eastern. Okay, bye.